Now we bring you discussion on significance of Bangladesh parliamentary election results for India. The participants are Pinak Ranjan Chakravarti, former Indian High Commissioner to Bangladesh, and Simran Sodhi, journalist.
Today we are discussing the elections in Bangladesh, in which we saw Sheikh Hasina winning fifth term, and we also see her party securing a fourth term in the country's elections. We also see that this is an election result which is hugely welcomed in India because of the geopolitics of the region. Ambassador Chakravarti, when you see the elections in Bangladesh, and we have seen some critique of it also coming from the Western nations, how do you see these elections that have been conducted and the result that we finally see now?
Well, because the opposition party decided to boycott the election, the major opposition, so the election result was kind of expected, and it was more or less a foregone conclusion that Awami League will win and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina will get another term in office. There has been critique, yes, from the West, but that critique has generally tried to pressurize the Hasina government to have free and fair election. Now, in my view, the free and fair election has taken place. Because the BNP had decided to boycott, the whole pressure built up has fizzled out. Because it became infructuous. Because the elections have been held, it would have mattered much more if the BNP was in the fray. But without the BNP, that was the end of the pressure, really. And there was no need for anybody to do any rigging or anything because the field was clear.
Ambassador Chakravarti, but this is precisely the critique which we have seen. People are saying that maybe Bangladesh now becoming a one-party kind of a democracy. Do you think that is fair critique?
No, I don't think so. Awami League is not the only party in Bangladesh, and nor is the BNP. Now, okay, we know that the BNP is a major party and has formed the government of India, but there are many other parties. It is a multi-party democracy. So we can't really say that it is a one-party state, because that would mean that there is no other party. When you say a one-party state, you mean a state like China or North Korea, which doesn't have any other party except the Communist Party. So I think that is a misnomer in terms of one-party state. And these are some very motivated comments coming from the West, which really, is promoting a narrative which I think is uncalled for.
Ambassador Chakravarti, we also see that as far as India is concerned, Sheikh Hasina has always proved to be a reliable partner. It has been in India's interest that she comes back to power. We also saw that the two times that Khalida Zia has been the Prime Minister, the relations between India and Bangladesh were not very good, also given the fact that Khalida Zia had the support of the Islamists. So in that context, how important do you think it is for the region, especially for India, that we have Sheikh Hasina back as the Prime Minister?
I think it's very important for the region because it provides continuity in India, Bangladesh, which have really progressed a lot under Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's stewardship since 2009. So this is now going to be her term, overall the fifth term in office. And she has taken the strategic decision to cooperate at all levels and in all domains with India. And that has proven to be very, very productive in terms of mutual benefit. Take trade, for example. Today, trade at the maximum reached before the COVID hit and we had a little dip, about $18 billion. Bangladesh is India's largest trader. And it provides a great deal of stability in the eastern region of India, which, as you know, has several problems in our states there. So I think the stability provided by Sheikh Hasina's government is a very important factor in regional stability.
Ambassador Chakravarti, we also see that Bangladesh is a country in which the border, if we look at the border, it is completely surrounded by Indian states like Mizoram, Tripura, Meghalaya, Assam, West Bengal. And this is also one of the reasons India has been concerned about the Chinese attempts to get closer to Dhaka. Do you feel that with Sheikh Hasina back in power in Bangladesh, the Chinese trying to get very strong in Dhaka is probably not going to work, because we have seen that Sheikh Hasina has done a good job of balancing things out when it comes to the India-China equation?
I agree there that Prime Minister Hasina has done a good balancing job as far as China and India are concerned. She, of course, has clearly said that China is also our development partner. Bangladesh has joined the BRI, but she also realizes that because China has no border with Bangladesh, But as you said, India surrounds Bangladesh. The strategic connotations of the geography is evident to everybody and to anybody in India and in Bangladesh. So the balancing will continue, in my view, and Hasina will have to ensure that the Chinese footprint does not go beyond a particular point, which then impedes India's national security, because that would mean India taking countermeasures which may not be very palatable to Bangladesh, because India is going to protect her interest in any case. And that's a very important navigation that both countries need to do, because it is a fact of life, geopolitics and geoeconomics. The China's footprint is rising in all the countries, and including and particularly in our neighborhood, where China feels that it can influence our neighbors and keep India under check.
Mr. Chakravarti, we also see that between New Delhi and Dhaka, there is also the security concerns. And we also saw that between 96 and 2001, and then since 2009, New Delhi, as far as security is concerned, the security cooperation is concerned, India has received a lot of cooperation from Sheikh Hasina and a government, especially when it comes to curbing the anti-India activity in Bangladesh. So how much does this security cooperation and the security aspect play in the India-Bangladesh ties?
The kind of help that Sheikh Hasina has rendered to India on the security front was a very crucial reason why our relations became better and better and improved a lot. And India was willing to invest more money in Bangladesh, and India was prepared to go 2 steps more than Bangladesh to help in terms of connectivity and other things. India, of course, has her own interest in terms of connectivity, which facilitates trade and travel of people and transmission of goods from via the sea and the ports in Bangladesh to the northeastern states, and the railway link that we have been building from Akhara to Agartala will provide connectivity from Agartala to Calcutta. This saves a lot of time. It reduces the cost of business and it makes goods cheaper when it reaches the consumer. So these are some of the benefits of greater connectivity. And these economic benefits will ultimately percolate down to the consumer at the ground level. So I think these are very important factors in mutual accommodation in terms of growing prosperity and growing economy. So this, I think, has been very crucial. And what triggered this cooperation was the security cooperation that was started. And the Prime Minister Hasina's crackdown on the anti-Indian activities there. That has helped a lot, I think. We have to acknowledge that and be grateful to her government for having done that. Not that every anti-Indian element in Bangladesh has disappeared. There are elements still around, but I think she has curbed them with a heavy hand, which was required at that time. And they are now lying low, or at least whatever's left of them.
We also see that US State Department's country reports on terrorism in 2022 specifically said that Bangladesh experienced few instances of terrorist violence as authorities continued to pursue militants rigorously. So this is despite the West's critique of the elections and everything, there is also an acknowledgement that Bangladesh has done quite well when it comes to dealing with terrorist activities in their home ground. So do you feel that somewhere not just India but even the West appreciates what she has done as far as security and curbing all these elements is concerned?
There is no debate on that. Bangladesh's anti-terrorist organization, the RAB as it is called, was in fact partially trained by the Americans for this anti-terrorist operations. And hence it is a bit odd. But then there are lobbies in the United States which have highlighted the human rights aspect, extrajudicial killings and things like that. And then the American administration thought that this is a good handle to leverage and pressurize Bangladesh human rights. Then they said we will not ban certain senior RAB officials from getting US visas. These are the kind of steps they took. I think these were steps that were best not taken. And it would have been better to engage directly with the government in Bangladesh to express whatever concern you may have and try and improve things. And I think to try and pressurize Sheikh Hasina is a gamble they took. And I think they have failed because she is not a person who takes very kindly to this kind of pressure. And she is a very, very strong woman. And we all know that. We'll keep Bangladesh's interest uppermost in her mind. She's a nationalist and she's a patriot. And I think Western pressure has really not worked. But they know very well that she has done a phenomenal job in curbing terrorism, which the State Department report, as you mentioned, acknowledged.
Master Chakravarti, do you feel that with this latest election results, this also somewhere puts Pakistan on the back foot? Because we've also seen that, especially when Khaleda Zia assumes power, we see Pakistan acting more strongly in Bangladesh.
Yes, the BNP led by Khaleda Zia has been pro-Pakistani and has done things at the behest of ISI. We know all that. There's a lot of evidence of that. And it had a coalition government with the Jamaat-e-Islam, which is regarded as virtually the fifth column of Pakistan. We all know their role during the Liberation War. They were collaborators with the Pakistan army in killing their own people, the genocide that was committed. So I think with Sheikh Hasina coming back to power, naturally the Pakistanis will feel another 5 years they will have to twiddle their thumbs, apart from trying to, finance or encourage the Islamists or the Jamaatis to somehow create problems for Sheikh Hasina. As you know, Pakistan uses Bangladesh for funneling FICN, that is fake Indian currency notes, which comes in through various routes, and then it is funneled into India. The crackdown that Sheikh Hasina can do or curb these kind of activities will add to a much better security environment. To that extent, of course, Pakistan will be disappointed. Not that it has enough money now to give to Bangladesh. Bangladesh has left Pakistan far behind in terms of GDP, in terms of human development indices, and in terms of per capita income. Country which was called the basket case pejoratively is today the fastest growing economy in Asia, acknowledged by the Asian Development Bank. Of course, today it is suffering a bit of a setback on the economic front because of COVID and the Ukraine war, which has caused a lot of problems, not just to Bangladesh, but also to several other countries. So there are economic problems which she'll have to face immediately, and she will have to ensure that inflation comes down and the other things that are related to the economy are improved.
Ambassador Chakravarti, we've also seen that the India-Bangladesh relationship has also improved tremendously because of a great personal chemistry between the two leaders. We've seen our Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. They share great chemistry. There seems to be a lot of trust between the two leaders. So how much does this leadership lead to a greater strength in bilateral ties as we have seen in India and Bangladesh?
You see, personal chemistry between two leaders is always helpful to further the bilateral ties. But don't forget that there has to be a meeting ground in terms of vision, in terms of strategic interests, and the rest of it. And that is when the two leaders who share a chemistry can really push the relationship beyond what is the normal. And that is exactly what has happened between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. This has happened because Sheikh Hasina too believes, and she has a long association with India. She lived in India after her father and family were assassinated. And she has good memories of living in India and a connection with India that cannot be forgotten. But that is a personal thing. But I think what you said about the chemistry between the two leaders matters a lot.
And in the coming days, we will continue our discussions on the India-Bangladesh relationship. With these comments, we bring today's discussion to an end. Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on significance of Bangladesh parliamentary election results for India. The participants were Pinak Ranjan Chakravarti, former Indian High Commissioner to Bangladesh, and Simran Sodhi, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of Akashvani. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may share your feedback about this program through email at airnsttalks@gmail.com or WhatsApp on 9289094044.